Incoming transmission.
Will you hold the line when every one of them is giving up and giving in? Tell me, in this house of mine, nothing ever comes without a consequence of cost. Tell me, will the stars align? Will heaven step in? Will it save us from our sin? Will it? Cause this house of mine stands strong. That's the price you pay. Leave behind your heart and cast away. Just another product of today. Rather be the hunter than the prey. And you're standing on the edge, face up, cause you're a natural. I bleeding heart of stone. You gotta be so cold to make it in this world. Yeah, you're a natural. Living your life cutthroat. You gotta be so cold. Yeah, you're a natural.
Allied reinforcements have arrived from the west.
You're listening to The Holonet on Mojo 50 Radio. The millennial conservative resistance begins right here, right now.
Oh, yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the new millennial conservative resistance does indeed begin right here, right now with you. You are listening to, and damn, I hope you're watching the Holonet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio, coming to you right now from our forward operating base deep in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona. I am your host, Matt Holloway, coming to you from the Zona in the time of the Rona, year 4 of the Trumpian age. And is the Trumpian age at its close? I don't think it is yet. I don't think we're done, kids. That's right, today the news broke. The news broke like a wave crashing upon the firmament that the Supreme Court has turned their backs on the American people in a 7-2 decision. A 7-2 ruling. The Supreme Court ruled to reject the case from Texas. I'm told it's not a case. Okay, they ruled to reject the motion or decline the motion from the state of Texas, joined by 6 other states, joined in amicus curiae, friend of the court briefs, by 20 states in challenging the constitutionality of last-minute changes that were made by not the legislatures, but by the administrations of Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The challenge was never if a state has the right to make these changes. No, the challenge was always, do the governors and do the secretaries of state and judges of these states have the ability to do so unilaterally without the okay of their legislators? Because whom does the Constitution of the United States entrust the power of choosing our electors? Article 2, Section 1.2 of the United States Constitution reads that this power is solely vested in the state legislatures. Late on Friday, SCOTUS issued a rush decision stating, according to Fox News, that they, quote, denied a Texas effort Friday that would have essentially nullified the presidential elections in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Wisconsin. Damn right it would have. That decision is a major blow to Americans demanding election integrity. This story coming to us from the GOP Times, colleague of mine, Mark Megahan, I believe it is. Mark, if I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry, dude. He lives not too far from me, actually. He said the plaintiffs don't have a legal leg to stand on. The state of Texas's motion for leave to file a bill of complaint is denied for lack of standing under Article 3 of the Constitution. So let's be very clear. Let's be crystal mother clear. They didn't deny this based on the merits of the case. They didn't deny this based on the argument that these 4 states acted unconstitutionally? No, they argued that Texas didn't have the standing. Texas did not have the right to bring this case to the Supreme Court of the United States under original jurisdiction. So where does that leave us today? In the harsh light of Saturday, the 12th of December in the year of our Lord 2020. It leaves us where President Trump, in his capacity as an aggrieved party in the election, still has the ability to raise such a challenge. However, it is unlikely to reach the Supreme Court in time. However, there are other cases that are still in play. Here in my very own state of Arizona, the Grand Canyon State, Arizona legislators have embarked on a patriotic war for the United States of America. This coming to us from Patriot United News, author yours truly. AZ legislators now embark on a patriotic political war for America. 28 members of the Arizona State Legislature released a statement calling for the decertification of the 2020 election results. State Representative Sonny Borelli made reference to the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence 244 years ago during his remarks Monday. Those signers who pledged, as paraphrased by Borelli, their personal fortune, their honor, their sacred honor, and as this Marine, I'm not a Marine, he is, will tell you, and I know this veteran will tell you, surrender is not in our creed. I wanted to also pull up some remarks here from another state representative, a great American, Representative Walter Blackman. Walter Blackman said, "In the past week, seemingly conclusive evidence has come to light through successful litigation that the outcome of the 2020 election is far from certain. And at the very least, further investigation is necessary to ensure the integrity of Arizona's election results. It is imperative that Secretary of State Hobbs rescind her certification and the election until these matters have made their way through the court and voter confidence is restored." Now, right now, there are a whole bunch of people in the blogosphere, in the Twitter universe, who are calling out some tweets that the Arizona GOP made. Tweets that they retweeted from this gentleman, Ali Stop the Steal. He was a speaker and has been a constant speaker at these rallies in Phoenix, where he posted that he is ready to die for this country, and the AZ GOP asked, "Are you?" This is not a call to violence. If anything, this is a call to passivity. As Patton once said, you don't win wars by dying, you win wars by making the other bastards die for their country. So this isn't asking if Arizonans and if Americans are willing to go to war, if they're willing to pick up arms, if they're willing to fight. No, this is asking, are you willing to die? Think about that. Are you willing to potentially get run over with a tank? China. Are you willing to potentially get ganged up on by a mob? Antifa. It is a very personal and profound thing to make your peace with God, that you're willing to put your life up on the line. This is not a call to violence. This is a call for courage in the face of violence that is being threatened against Republicans, conservatives, Trump supporters all over the country. So I take their stern rebuke and reply with a solid, go f*** yourself. Nice job taking stuff out of context, guys, as always. Whew, got off on a little bit of tear already. Hey, before we get too deep into the show, it is indeed ya boys over at Patriot Energy. PatriotEnergyAZ.org/Mojo50. PatriotEnergyAZ.org/Mojo50. Zero money down, zero installation. It is a solar ownership program. Own your power. Don't let your power companies own you. You can get a free quote today. Just hop on PatriotEnergyAZ.org/Mojo50. Tell them you heard it from Matt on the HoloNet. And you'll probably wind up talking to me anyway, because I work with these guys sometimes. Hey, It'd be cool. I enjoy talking to you. Hey, Bat, man, call me back. Call me back. Phil. Actually, I think that was Phil. Phil? Might have been Phil. You know who you are. Call me back. But anyway, guys, patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50. Break free from the chains of servitude to your power company. Stop renting your electricity. It's a lot like beer in that way. You drink it down and then you return it back to its rightful owner. Don't do that with your electricity. Get independent, because now is going to be the time you're going to want to get independent, because it is time for SHTF, man. It is time for the excrement to strike the rotating blade. Things are getting crazy. A little limeade there. May or may not have stolen it. Anyway. So we're going to move along to the Twitters. As I am recording, last night, Owen Schroyer gave an impromptu speech outside of the JW Marriott in Washington, D.C., and this kind of gives you a little clue as to where people's heads are at. I'm going to bring the mic down low so the radio audience can hear this, but Owen Schroyer, check it out.
Exactly. Last warning to the deep state, last warning to the New World Order is tomorrow. And after that, the revolution is on, ladies and gentlemen. One last chance for a peaceful overtone of the deep state, or guess what? We're flipping the barriers, we're taking over the Supreme Court, and guess what? If they dare put Biden up on that inauguration stage, we will literally take it over, and then But anyway, we're going to do all that tomorrow, and then we got a whole month to fight. So for tonight, find yourself a beverage, get yourself comfortable. If you want to hang out, I'm going to be hanging out right here, drinking a beer or two. So I'm glad everybody came out from all across the nation. We got people from Texas, California, Florida. So it was always our revolution, folks. It was always our revolution, and it continues to be our revolution. God bless America, everybody.
Owen Schroyer of InfoWars fame. Used to run with Alex Jones a bit. I became aware of him actually in a MAGA rap song, believe it or not, when he was doing his protests live at the Capitol. Schroyer now saying that this has always been our revolution, and that if they dare put Joe Biden up on that inauguration platform, we'll take it back. Strong words. This reported by Elijah Schaffer, by the way. Elijah Schaffer, fantastic journalist, host of Slightly Offensive at the other place. Great guy. I honestly rely on people like Elijah Schaffer and Andy No, who are a little more able to travel to see these things. I've covered a couple of protests in my time. Nothing as crazy as some of the crap they run into every time. I've covered protests here in Phoenix. I've covered protests all the way out in like Mesa, but always in Arizona, right? I think I even covered one in Flagstaff, but I wasn't there personally. But yeah, a bunch of videos up on Twitter right now from Elijah Schaffer, about hour, 2 hours old or so, all from last night. Make sure you check this out. D.C. riot police, according to reports from Elijah Schaffer, gearing up as Antifa and BLM hit the streets in front of the White House. He inquires, is this the unity they were talking about? Prior to that, I'm not going to play this because I would like to stay on Mojo 50 for the foreseeable future. About 100 Black Bloc Antifa singing at BLM Plaza, 10 or so police present. About 100 Trump patriots at a local D.C. bar casually drinking. 30-plus officers, a show of force. We know whose side we are on. So, check this out. They're standing in BLM Plaza singing you MPD. I mean, I really want to play it. The guitar's not bad. The drums got a good dig to it. But the only lyrics are you MPD. Your lyrics need work, man. get going on it. I know you guys, by the way, before anybody asks, yeah, carpal tunnel's murder, and I've been doing spackle drywall painting. Yeah. And by the way, I'm writing a lot more now, so that only aggravated things. So, Elijah Schaffer also reported that Antifa and BLM were harassing every Trump supporter that walked in front of the White House. Is this the kind of country that you want to live in? Madness. So I've been keeping a close eye on the Twitterverse. Also checking out some stuff coming from Andy No from the West Coast. Did you know that there is yet another, it's another autonomous zone. It's not the Chaz, it's not the Chop. This is the Red House autonomous zone. Wait. The crazy continues. Here we go. The family that Portland and Antifa have made the autonomous zone to protect from trespass removal actually owns a second home nearby. A GoFundMe for the family has hoodwinked thousands into donating nearly $300,000. Oh, it's a scam. That's right. The Multnomah County District Attorney, according to Andy No, released a statement in response to the Portland Antifa autonomous zone, known as the Red House Zone. Quote, the situation on North Mississippi shows the pressing need for our community to come together to address our housing crisis, economic inequalities, racial and social injustices, and to be mindful of the collateral consequences of the criminal legal system can have on destabilizing families and entire communities. Many in our community would never know about the plight of the Kinney family and the Red House on Mississippi, but for the neighbors and community members who have refused to stand by silently. Now we understand and feel more keenly that foreclosures and evictions, even when afforded due process, can have cascading effects. The shame is that it took this type of intervention to bring so many together to want to remedy the situation. Aww. If you heard a loud sucking and slurping noise, that was Mike Schmidt, the district attorney for Multnomah County, vigorously out of Antifa and BLM, saying, please, come for me last. Oh, yeah. Come for me last. Sure. This is all they're doing. This is what they're doing in progressive socialist, Democrat-ruled cities around the country. They're playing softball with them. They're gently fondling them. They're not cracking down on these autonomous zones, on these truly violent protests, on these vile, anti-police, anti-capitalist protests. No, they're not cracking down on them at all. But you got a couple dozen Trump supporters out in front of a building? Ooh, got to put a stop to that, don't we? Don't we just? Now it's been beaten to death, and it's going to continue to be beaten to death. YouTube made big changes to their platform this past week, wherein anyone who dareth insinuate... hang on, I had this on Facebook. I gotta pull it up now. I gotta flash up my Facebook. And you know I don't like doing that on this because Facebook sucks down a monstrous amount of RAM. It drinks it up. It drinks your milkshake. And yeah, I don't want to do that. But YouTube has pulled a completely new level of f***ery. Yes, now anyone who dares question the doctrine. Oh, come on, guys, really? Here we go. Anyone who dares question the immutable doctrine that Biden has won the election. Anybody who dares call it into question. Your channel's getting nuked, dude. Starting with your videos first. I put this on Facebook. YouTube decrees the election is over. Yesterday was the safe harbor deadline for the U.S. presidential election, and enough states have certified their election results to determine a president-elect. Funny, Congress doesn't meet until January 6th. Given that, we will start removing any piece of content uploaded today or any time thereafter that misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election in line with our approach toward historical U.S. presidential elections. For example, we will remove videos claiming that the presidential candidate won the election due to widespread software glitches or counting errors. We will begin enforcing this policy today and will ramp up in the weeks to come. By the by, in the work that I have done researching the Dominion voting systems and the origin thereof, I have now come to the personal conclusion, and I do not, as of yet, have all my ducks in a row, but as Inspector Finch said, it's just a feeling. I don't think President Trump's election here in 2020 was the first go-round for the current system of Dominion voting systems, which is, let's just say, malleable. I'm fairly certain this is not the first occasion. I don't believe that President Barack Obama needed it for his election in 2008. No, he was riding the wave. He was the first African-American president of the United States. It was history that he was getting propelled into office. But what about 2012? Did he really beat Mitt Romney? Because I seem to remember a point in the evening in Ohio when the votes came in again in the middle of the night, and Ohio suddenly had over 100% voter turnout, Cleveland, specifically, had over 100% voter turnout and swung Ohio. And from there, the dominoes fell. I think it bears investigation now into the veracity of the 2012 election as well. I don't think we can be certain of anything after the Dominion voting systems were put into place. And that, friends, if this holds true, should get me soundly kicked off of YouTube. So do make sure you find me located on the BitChute platform. And if you want to see more of this content here on Mojo 50, the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 from the HoloNet, from your forward operating base located in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona, here in Arizona in the time of the Rona, there are many options that you can help. You can go on to Patreon, patreon.com/TheHoloNet, patreon.com/TheHoloNet. Become a HoloNet operative today. You can also become a HoloNet operative on Subscribestar. Every little bit helps. So please, if you do have the wherewithal to do that, I made an announcement this past week that I have got the location for the future HoloNet studios, which is going to be here in the West Valley. It's going to be a lot of fun, but need your support to get that going. So this is where you can do that right here on patreon.com/TheHoloNet. Or, of course, you can pick up some fantastic merch, and that merch is available on theholonet.com. Here we go. And it'll take you, boom, straight to our Teespring store. You can pick up a fantastic, wrong one, HoloNet t-shirt. We have the HoloNet t-shirt, HoloNet sweatshirts, HoloNet hoodies, HoloNet A-shirts, HoloNet socks, because, hey, it's winter, it's getting cold, and sweatshirts, etc., so on and so forth. Phone cases, coffee mug. Don't have mine out right now because I'm drinking something different. I love the stickers. I have a huge one on my car. And your face mask. And, of course, the best possible face mask is... this mask stuff is bullshit. And, because it's going to become important... I told you it was going to become important. Didn't I tell you? I told you. This is what Civil War II looks like, kids. It is the Gadsden Divide. Don't tread on me versus we will tread. You're listening to the HoloNet podcast, not podcast, the HoloNet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 radio. We'll take a quick break. And then we will return. Stick around.
Let me tell you about a new company with values that you can really get behind. Patriot Energy is a new veteran-owned company doing solar the right way. Take advantage of government incentives and cut your electric bill by 30 to 40% while buying your own system with no money down. Support a veteran-owned company, help the environment, and save money. Go to patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50 for an estimate. You have choices when it comes to energy. Let Patriot Energy help you make the right choice for you. patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50.
Kill Switch Engage. Hope is off of The End of Heartache. That should be an anthem for this moment right now. For this singular moment in American history. Let the strength of your words be the spark that ignites the flame. Proclaim your freedom and give voice to your liberation. This is my confession. Mark these words, we will rise. Oh, man, just fantastic lyrics in that song. I actually heard that for the first time when I was in high school, and I didn't really get it. I get it now. Now, not everybody's cup of tea. I think Patrick Beckley probably enjoyed that one a little bit because he's a metalhead. Get in there, man. We don't agree on a lot, but we agree on music and some memes. He's an edgelord. So, Patrick, if you're listening, thanks, brother. Hey, all my truckers, by the way, out there, sound off in the comments. I know you're there. I know you're there. And I don't talk to you guys enough. I don't get to interact with you guys as directly as I like because you're driving. It's a hard thing to do. So, hey, I'm going to toss it out there again. I haven't done it in a while, but if you look down the lower right-hand corner of your screen, right, lower left hand, your left hand, my right hand, lower right-hand corner of your screen, call-in numbers 480-442-6604. 480-442-6604. Drop me a voicemail, man. I will play it during the show, assuming it's decent. But call in, ask questions. Let's get some kind of a conversation going. I mean, it might be a couple of days until I actually get to it, but dude, even if I don't answer it on air, I'll try to get back to you. But let's get that back and forth happening. Tweet me at the HollowNet, Facebook.com/HollowNet, of course. I am on the parlays, the MeWees, the BitChutes, the Gabs, all over the place. So yeah, I want to interact with my audience a little bit more. I miss it. I miss you guys. I know I'm not always online at the same time as you are, just because, you know, the busyness. But getting back into it, real quick before we dive in headlong, go to my Patriot. Go to preparewithmojo50.com. Preparewithmojo50.com takes you over to our buddies over at My Patriot Supply. You can do the 4-week emergency food supply for $197. Dude, I did this ad last week without even looking at it, and I got it right. Shouldn't be too proud of that. I do it every week. 4-week emergency food supply, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Save $100 by using your Trump bucks responsibly, assuming you got any left. Still waiting to hear whether we're going to be getting any more of those. Although, maybe just don't close down the entire mother country again. Maybe we can just skip that part this time and not put us all in the poorhouse right after Christmas. I don't know. How about you? So, yeah. Preparewithmojo50.com. This paired with patriotenergyaz.org/mojo50 pairs perfectly because you can achieve your independence from your food supply. You don't want to be tethered to a grocery store when times get tough. And your independence from your power supply. If you have well water, you got it made in the shade, baby, because then you got your water, you got your power, you got your food, and you're set, son. Then you just need to invest in some of those freedom seeds and some of those accessories that are usually lost in tragic boat accidents. I dropped my bell. No. Oh, by the way, I don't think he listens, but big shout out to my boy, Borodor Ashos, a fellow Matthew out there, old friend of mine and of the show. Godspeed, man. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. That's my buddy Matt back east in Jersey, in dirty Jersey. And send him my love back home, brother. So, back to the show. You know what we haven't had in a while? And it seems like it's been so long, but it hasn't been. But it seems like it's been a bit. Because China's been in the news all week because Eric Swallowwell, no relation, has been Holloway, anyway, has been in the news because he has had some interactions with a woman by the name of Fang Fang. And, yeah, that's a honeypot scam for Chinese intelligence. And he was kicked off the Intel committee. Nice job, Swalwell. And, some shots fired from there. I can't confirm this. I haven't been able to find the tweet independently, but Dinesh D'Souza put it up on Facebook that apparently, Ted Cruz tweeted out that for years I've been saying that the Chi-Coms were trying to screw us. I didn't realize Swalwell was listening quite so closely. Oh, hang on. That worked. All right. I need a producer, Ron. Badly. I suck at this. All right. Speaking of Chinese, bull. The Chinese state newspaper, the Chinese propaganda organ, who regularly accuses the United States of violating the human rights of its citizens, typically claiming that we're a racist hellhole, does not act sufficiently against poverty, or we engage too frequently in foreign warmongering. Last week, they declared the United States a living hell because of the pandemic. The one that they loosed upon mankind and lied their asses off about for like 3 months. And they still haven't given us an accurate death toll or an accurate infection rate or anything of that nature. So, to the Chi-Coms, the Chinese Communist Party, I have but one answer for you. Assuming my sound pad's going to work. Let's see here. Oh, I don't have it on here. All right, this is going to sound like crap for the people on the video, but here we go.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I award you no points. May God have mercy on your soul. This is the dumbest crap ever. This is China we're talking about, for God's sakes. This is the government that forced their people to stop growing food and to start smelting steel in their backyard. This is the same government that screwed up planting enough rice for their population. This is the same government that was bolting people into their houses, welding the doors shut to enforce their quarantine. And they have the balls, they have the gall to call us human rights violators? Like, are you kidding me? This is like Satan saying you have anger management problems. This is like Stalin giving you tips on how to interact with your family. I mean, it's absurd on its face. The Global Times went on to claim institutional abandonment of the fight against coronavirus in the United States, quote, leading the country to a huge humanitarian tragedy where human lives are treated like grass. The pandemic, it claimed, was the Waterloo of human rights advocacy in America. Quote, the current U.S. administration is actually committing crimes against humanity, and it will eventually face a moral trial by history. You mean like Tiananmen Square and the brutal subjugation of Hong Kong? Yeah, those are going to reflect really well on Beijing, aren't they? Next! A bit of hope. Again, coming out of our Grand Canyon state. The Arizona GOP is taking an election case to the Supreme Court, saying, we found evidence. The Arizona Republican Party, led by Chairman Dr. Kelly Ward, announced Friday it is appealing its election integrity case, taking it to the United States Supreme Court after the Arizona Supreme Court dismissed the case. Our case is going to the Supreme Court, Ward announced on Friday, expressing hope that it will be expedited and noting that if accepted, they will be the only third 2020 presidential election case accepted by the highest court in the land. Here is Dr. Kelly Ward's update.
Hello, Arizona. It is time for the daily update from the Republican Party of Arizona. I'm your chairwoman, Dr. Kelly Ward. So today, it's the day that you've been waiting for. Our case is going to the Supreme Court of the United States. We are filing, and hopefully we will be accepted with an expedited oomph behind us. If we are accepted, we'll be only the third case in this presidential in 2020 to be accepted by the Supreme Court. Why does this need to go to the Supreme Court? Well, simply because we have not had due process. It is unconstitutional for us not to have due process, which is time to be able to make a case, do discovery, and hold an entire hearing. The judge set unrealistic deadlines. He believed he had to have his case out of his hands by December 8th. Well, that only gave us 3 days to examine up to 3 million ballots, which we all know is impossible. So, and in Arizona, it's interesting because for over 100 years, we've had to file an election contest the day after the election is certified. So that gives us only 8 days to do the entire job that we need to do. And everyone knows that that's not enough time to do the job in a case that is as important as choosing our next president. So this is going to go to the Supreme Court, and guess who's fighting it? The Democrats, the left, the media. The media loves to say, show us the evidence. We found evidence, but then we didn't have enough time to do more discovery because they've kept that evidence locked up. It's smoke and mirrors, and the people of Arizona see right through it. So do the people of America as a whole. Those Democrats don't care about accountability, they don't care about transparency, and they certainly don't care about the integrity of this election. But I can tell you the Republican Party of Arizona does, and so does Dr. Kelly Ward. So we're going to continue the good fight with you. Stay tuned. Our next update will be on Monday. See you then.
About the only thing I don't like about Dr. Kelly Ward is when she refers to herself in the third person like that. It's grating on my nerves, Doc. Come on. I've had the pleasure to interview Dr. Kelly Ward on a couple of different occasions, and I wish her good luck and Godspeed in this appeal to SCOTUS, because the due process has not been applied here in Arizona, as she alluded to. The time limit is ridiculous, and the rush unimaginable, and the hurdles that every investigation into the election have faced insurmountable, because we are deliberately being held back from discovering the truth of the matter. And this is probably going to get me thrown off of YouTube now. But I'm sorry to my subscribers on YouTube. You can find me on BitChute, find me on Facebook. I'm trying to get everything ported over to Rumble, but it's not as easy an interface. I'm working on that, okay, guys? And, of course, like I said, my written work is now available on the GOP Times and the Patriot United News as well. But I am not going anywhere here on Mojo 50, by the way. I'm sticking around, as I hope you do too. So, points of hope, as I alluded to with our musical introduction, hope is not lost. As Owen Schroyer said, hope is not lost. This is our revolution, and it always has been. It doesn't belong to the Republican Party. It doesn't belong even to the person of President Donald Trump. It belongs to the American people, to the American patriots who have been trod upon for too damn long and who are no longer willing to sit back and take it. Now, a Breitbart news story just came out. Portland police aware of weapons stockpile in the expanding autonomous zone. And as earlier noted, they're milquetoast prosecutors, they're neutered police, they're co-opted city government. Nobody's going to do anything about this. How long do they expect the American people to put up with this bullshit? How long do they expect us to sit idly by and watch autonomous zones spring up in our cities, anarchy descend in these peaceful protests? Portland Police Bureau Chief Chuck Lavelle said his department is aware of a stockpile of weapons and the presence of firearms in a growing autonomous zone. Did you know they knocked out Ruby Ridge just because of some slightly modified rifles? Seriously. Janet Reno straight lit a building on fire, not herself personally, but she gave the orders, during the Clinton administration at Waco, Ruby Ridge. I mean, this stuff happened. And it was always ATF, weapons charges. Here we go, stockpile of weapons in the middle of the autonomous zone. A group of anti-eviction protesters set up the zone to stop the lawful eviction of the occupants of what has become known as the Red House on Mississippi. The chief said they were also aware of threats to the community, to police, and to media. We've seen the attacks, Lavelle continued. Portland police came under brutal attack on Tuesday as they attempted to help a local sheriff's office enforce the eviction of the Red House, Breitbart reported. Portland officers arrived at the Red House on Tuesday morning and were greeted by a crowd of at least 100 protesters. The protesters quickly became violent and began smashing the windows of police vehicles, slashing tires. The protesters then erected an anti-eviction barrier. Now, on its fourth day, the autonomous zone barricade continues to grow, according to independent journalist Andy No. The photo posted on Twitter shows the size of the occupied zone, which has grown to 3 blocks in diameter. The Oregonian reports that protesters erected corrugated metal sheets and stacked wooden boards. They also deployed nail-studded spike strips and accumulated a stockpile of glass bottles and rocks to use as weapons. Despite threats from the mayor and police chief to enforce the law, Portland police have not returned since being chased out of the area Tuesday. Look into the future of every major city in the United States in the next 2 years. Are you thrilled for it? Because honest to God, either way this election goes, that's what you're looking at. Now, in some positive news, Reports are coming in that the court has disqualified the George Soros-backed prosecutor Kim Gardner for fundraising off of the McCloskey case. Remember the McCloskeys? That's this lovely couple right over here. They stood on their front porch, weapons in hand, to deter Black Lives Matter protesters who had intruded upon their private property. They've pled not guilty to their weapons charges. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but apparently the prosecutor was punted. I'll have more on that likely Monday. Now here's the big one I want to talk to you about, because there's two stories coming out of Texas right now. One I'm going to get into probably tomorrow. I'll get into online, but it's about a Texas state representative who has a bill pending for a referendum for Texas to secede from the Union. They're calling it Texit again. You remember this? They talked about this a little bit under the Obama administration, that Texas would make moves to secede from the Union if it felt that it was being singled out. But now the Texas GOP chair, he's a man we know and love and remember well, Colonel Allen West. Apparently he has made a suggestion that law-abiding states form their own union after the Supreme Court rejected the lawsuit brought by Texas today. The chairman of the Republican Party of Texas suggested Friday that law-abiding states should form their own union after the Supreme Court's rejection of the lawsuit seeking to invalidate votes from 4 battleground states. Quote, "This decision establishes a precedent that says states can violate the U.S. Constitution and not be held accountable. This decision will have far-reaching ramifications for the future of our constitutional republic. Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution," said the statement from Chairman Allen West. The statement decried the Supreme Court's ruling that rejected Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's lawsuit, which asked the High Court for an emergency order to invalidate ballots from Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I will have that retweeted here on the Twitters if you want to check that out. Again, twitter.com / HollowNet. I believe it's the HollowNet. Yeah, I can like the tweet. Go away now. Oh, I already retweeted that sucker. Sweet. I'll retweet the second one too. But yeah, this is more from Allen West. He said, if we are here living in Texas and we were joined with, 20 some odd other states and with the 106 different members of Congress that say we do not want to stand by and allow 4 states to have unconstitutional practices, and when we see states such as ourselves following the law, but yet the Supreme Court says that's perfectly fine, then maybe we should have a union of states that believe in the Constitution and will abide by the rule of law, and let these other states go out their own separate way and let them not be supported by these states and other states such as ourselves. I don't know if I disagree with that. I really don't think I do. I think Allen West, not Adam West, not Batman. I think Allen West might have the truth of it. Thank you, Colonel. Never a dull moment, huh? Not even a little. Only thing that could basically make this better be some good coffee, because like right now I'm not drinking coffee because it's late. But I could go for some American Pride Roasters coffee. AmericanPrideRoasters.com, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. You can get K-Cups on there now. K-Cups. You can get your Christmas gift basket for $32 from AmericanPrideRoasters.com, or the small one for $25, or you can get a K-Cup basket for $32. You still do Brad's Brown Bag, the Defender's Light, 8-ounce APR Gold. On the Roof, $20, same as downtown, 1-pounder for $20. You can get the Franklin for $14. Blueberry Donut Hole, the Burr Hamilton, I've been meaning to try. But all of those coffees are available for you here at AmericanPrideRoasters.com. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Get in touch with DM at DM. Let him know you want HollowNet Fuel. Tweet him at APR Coffee, at APR Coffee, and let him know, make HollowNet Fuel. Seriously, for 2021. Just make Matt shut up about it. Make HollowNet Fuel. It worked for Watson. Watson complained long enough, and they gave him his own flavor. By the way, I believe that's on here. Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know, if you like chocolate, you even have Ron's Sessual Chocolate. Yep, right there. The Sessual Chocolate, 1 pound. All right. So, last 5 minutes of the show. What am I going to do with the last 5 minutes of the show? I'm going to tell you, check out this story if you want to see where the battle lines are going to be drawn. This is a story that I put up. It's all over Facebook if you check out the HoloNet. But I was listening to Tim Pool over the weekend, and Tim Pool said that he could not find this story, this article, anywhere which set out what the battle lines were in the Texas case, the Texas plead for Texas versus Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. So I sat down here, and I drew it out for you. I set it up on 270 to win. You can see it on here right now, all the different states. And this could give us an indication of what the battle lines are really going to look like. Now, many of us on the right who've kind of seen something like this coming have said, you know, there's not going to be clear battle lines. It's not going to be state on state like it was. But then, lo and behold, you know, you have 20 states on the right and some 20 states and 3 territories on the left who are basically going to legal battle with each other, who are signing opposing amicus briefs, amicus curiae. 6 states that intervened with Texas and became co-plaintiffs, and then the neutral states. And it looked like a map right out of a civil war. It was insane. And it still could very well. I mean, I have the breakdown of who did what here if you want to check it out. The states that joined in, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Utah, who intervened, and the full list of states that joined in amicus curiae, the groups that were involved, the 106 House reps. You have hyperlinks to the actual complaints if you want to read them yourself. You know, this is historic now. And I actually wrote out on here, and I've been getting a lot of heat for this online, the following sentence. The legal battle lines are drawn in the most pivotal Supreme Court case of our time. Texas versus Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. As this publication, a total of 19 states joined the amicus curiae, friend of the court briefs in support of Texas legal arguments, and 6 states have intervened as plaintiffs. And I stand by what I said. This could still be one of the most pivotal judgments in the history of the United States. Right up there with Dred Scott. Yeah, that's right. Because what this judgment said is that because Texas didn't have sufficient standing under Article 3, it is perfectly fine to dismiss the deep and abiding concerns of over 70 million Americans. Over half of the voters in this country, because I'm sorry, everybody's telling me Biden won the popular vote. Bullshit. Never happened. No, absolutely not. There's no way that man won 80 million votes. There's no way in hell that Joseph R. Biden got more votes in 2020 than Barack Obama did in 2008. Bullshit. I don't believe it. Could get thrown off YouTube today. Could happen. Wouldn't be shocked. It's not where I get most of my listeners anyway. Not that I want to deride you guys or defame you. There's just not a lot of you because their algorithm has been punting me in the since I started. My doesn't trend ever. You got to go hunting for me. Maybe you find me if you're lucky. If I drop in the URL, it doesn't pop up sometimes, for God's sake. But yes, I stand by. I stand by what I wrote today. This morning I wrote this. I stand by the fact that this could be one of the most pivotal decisions in the history of the Supreme Court of the United States. This is the day the Supreme Court turned its back on the American people. Potentially the most important decision ever brought to them. And they said, nah, on a technicality. They don't have standing. We're not even going to listen to it. We're not even going to judge it on its merits. That music, kiddies. means that this episode of the Holonet has come to an end. But as we talked about, hope is not lost. Weep no more, for we will prevail. From Phoenix, good night. God bless you and God bless the United States of America. End transmission.